Hi, my name's Andrew Herridge and I paint under the name of Wild Shore Art. So you want to paint some sky and you've been putting it off for some time. It's stopping you from actually beginning your work. There's no need. It is not difficult, and this is how I do it. Of course, there's lots of different ways, but I've got to begin with a few skies here. The skies tell a story, they set the scene. This one, blues, greys, whites and sunshine, which is what I guess you would expect to see in a sky. But there's different kinds of skies. This one is equally dramatic. Blues, whites, bluey greys. This one, a bit more bonkers, because the whole picture's a little bit bonkers. There you go. Whites, greeny, sort of ochre colours, grey blues, darker blues, whites. Now there's a pattern developing here, isn't there? Whites, blues, greys. Now you do get other colours in skies, obviously, but those will do to begin with. Last one, excuse me, totally bonkers, but whites, blues, very light bluey grey. So let's just put those down for a minute, move them where they won't get covered in paint, because I'm a fairly splash it about painter. Okay, what do you need? You need some gesso to begin with. You need plenty of water, and I use actually an inexpensive, very inexpensive brush. Now you can buy these brushes actually on any sort of well-known online mail ordery. Sounds like the name of a foresty place. That's all I'm going to say. And I get, I don't know, it's about 30 of these for not very much money. The thing is, they've got a nice sort of coarse texture, but at the same time they're fairly soft. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is spray the top of the canvas with some water, just to make things flow a little better. Get my white. Now I know the canvas is already white, but I want something that I'm going to work into. I'm painting first of all down to a fairly straight line. That's going to be my horizon, which probably doesn't show very well on the camera, but not to worry, you'll see once we start getting some colour into the sky. So what I'm going to do is go for a fairly dramatic sky, one where it's dynamic. That's the word I want, dynamic. Okay, so we put that on. I like to work wet, so I keep the paint pretty wet. Skies, my sky's going to be lighter at the top, darker at the bottom. So put the blue in. I'm not aiming to cover the whole of my white. Right. So I just say, I can never say this word. Cerulean blue. Favourite one for starting off the sky. Okay. Followed by a tiny bit of ultramarine, which I'm just going to put in and darken off the bottom a little bit. bit more along the bottom. Now, the thing to remember is, because this is going to be fairly dynamic as skies go, it's not necessarily going to end up how it looks at the moment. Right, tiny little bit of neutral grey, which is a sort of medium-ish grey. Notice I'm not actually cleaning my brush at the moment because I want the greys and blues to mix in anyway. So here we go, a little bit of grey, a little bit of anger in the sky, and then finally I will wash my brush a bit for this because it's going to have some white on it. Okay, titanium white, which is a dense, bright white. Remember, darker at the bottom, lighter at the top. Start mixing that in. Now, at the moment, you can see lots of lines and sort of discrete lumps of colour. What I'm going to start doing, still with my whitey brush, is just push it round a bit. Around the edges of the colour. I'm going to fill up my canvas. And I'm going to get that look in the sky. There's no definite clouds or anything. I'm just going to get that look in the sky that you get on a day when the sky can't quite make up its mind exactly what it's going to do. So I'm being pretty energetic with my strokes. I'll leave that grey showing quite nicely there. Okay, I quite like that white at the top. So the thing is, while it's still wet, just wash some of that grey off my brush. While it's still wet, start moving things around. So I'm going to have a bit more white up the top here now. There we go. Leaving the sort of blue over there. So I'm going to look up at the sky. It's darkish at the bottom. There's a bit of something going on here in the greyness. And then I've got my whitey up the top here. There are a few things you can try. I quite like smacking it around a bit with a piece of light cotton rag. Which gives texture, the white showing through a little bit and making it a bit more interesting. I mean, this is just a personal thing. You can try what you like. I'll just drag the cloud down a little bit. Now, I'm going to get myself a nice horizon with the rag. Now, at that point, you could just leave it. There's your sky. It's done. It's taken a few minutes. Stop worrying about it. Get on with the rest of the picture. If you want to, you could add more detail to it. I think what I'd do is I'd probably let it dry a bit now, and then possibly do something with some white later when it's actually dry. But you know what? I'm fairly happy with it as it is. It's not too bad. Let's just bring it up to the camera a bit and let you see the full splendour and magnificence of it. Okay, it's no big deal, but it's a sky. It's quite a nice one. I have got a few of these brushes, sort of stipply brushes. And if you want to just soften off the effects that you've got, I'll just bring this up here again and show you. I don't know if you can see that, whether it'll focus on it. See the textures that's in that sky. Now, I could soften it up a little bit, but if I do that, I'm going to lose those little whitey textures, which maybe you can't see. Now, you know what? I'm happier with the rag, so it's never too late to change your mind. So, yeah. And that's going to bring that texture back. So I've got the wind blowing up there. I've got the wind blowing down there. And that is it. How to paint the sky. Andrew Herridge, Wild Shore Art. Bye-bye for now.